I wanted to share with you some nativity poems that I've written. This is a little unprepared and raw, and each of these nativity poems gets progressively messier. So let's go through them. I wanted to record these. These are all readable on my blog or on my Instagram account, etc. One of these is in my latest book, The Saving I Need, and the first one is called Feeding God. I'm accompanied here by our lovebird chirping in the background. This is called Feeding God. His face pressed against her breast. So this is what he looks like. The one the prophet spoke of, the one the angel offered. Her eyes catch Joseph's gaze. Mary whispers, "He looks like us. Yahweh looks like us." His turned up nose, now hunting for milk with trembling fingers, she does her best to flick open the mouth of God, pulling his head in closer to her chest, closer to her heart. In this way, God receives his first meal in a stranger's home from the body of a teenage Galilean, swallowing and slurping like a hungry lamb. The memory of every event leading up to this moment courses through her body. Tears of relief cross her olive cheeks and fall upon her newborn as Joseph now strokes her brow. She closes her eyes, looks up to the heavens, and catches herself giving thanks to God, who now lays in her arms, Emmanuel, God with us. That's called Feeding God and is from this book, The Saving I Need. It's the opening poem in that latest collection. So today, over the last 24, 48 hours, I've been meditating and written a couple more nativity poems. Sometimes they come. I want to encourage you to find this next one on Instagram or Facebook, only because the accompanying photo with this poem is divine. It's by a photographer called Natalie Leonard, and I won't turn this around the camera, but you'll have to look it up. It's a very raw image of what the birth of Christ may have looked like in a stable. Raw, the baby's coming out as she's honestly giving birth to it, and Joseph's holding the child as it comes out, half out of her body into the world. And so this is the next poem. It's short, and I'll read some of the reflection as well. Bloody, naked, ushered by the screams of a mother, this is how God chose to enter our experience and leave it. All right, I've been at the births of my 3 children. The experience is nothing short of miraculous and messy. At Christmas time, I can't help but see beyond the pretty, sterile postnatal icons and images we so often use to depict the birth and first days of Christ. I can't help but imagine how it all affected Mary and Joseph, most likely teens, most likely tired, scared, uncomfortable refugees doing their best to deliver a divine promise. And right now, I'm asking myself this: why should we expect a genuine spiritual transformation to be anything less than bloody, messy, and accompanied by agony and elation? That poem doesn't have any name, but you can find that again on my Instagram or Facebook page. I haven't posted to my blog yet. This is the final one, and this poem is called The Incarnation. It's a bit longer. Thanks for sticking with me so far. And I wanted to lean further into this motif and idea of how messy childbirth really is, and how Mary wouldn't have been around sterile environments. She wouldn't have been around doctors and surgeons. There is a discussion of whether she was born actually in a stable, as it was. It was more likely anyway, I won't bother you with the details, but a stranger's home, and the homes had accompanying areas where livestock lived. But what it doesn't take away from is the rawness and messiness of birth and the miraculous journey of birth. So this is called the incarnation. Take all your hope and longing, cover it in blood, urine, feces, straw, cut the cord to your dreams with a field knife or clenched jaw. Here lays the King of the Jews, crowned between thighs, held in arms of exhaustion, bathed with tears, sweat, and the soft tones of a mother singing songs of deliverance between breaths, as the King of Glory feeds folded at her breast. What newborn would you not bend a knee for? What laboring mother would you not make room for? Here's how God chose to be with his beloved, in a state of utter surrender and dependence, making his way into the world through a uterus, trading a heavenly crown for one of mucus, later finding woven thorns pushed in its place as, once again, God surrenders to the fullness of humanity's mess, reconciling it all to himself, counting no soul's sin against them. That's available to find on my blog as well. Thank you for joining me. It's been 7 minutes, 3 poems and reflections. It's 2021. Somebody said to me, I saw somebody wrote, 2021 has been a hell of a decade. And it feels like a lot has crammed into this year, but I do hope and pray that your Christmas time, in this time you find some peace, some time to reflect on the messiness and the miracle of the incarnation, that our God chose to come like this to us and enter into the human experience in our chronic condition. God bless you. Thanks for your support for all that we do. I'm David Tensen. Shalom.